The Most High. Some more video. Just trying to make a point that I'm trying to show you how rightly indicting the people and not just poking the bear will do you more good, will bring a better result. When you rightly indict them for the crimes that they are committing today, right? Not the biblical crimes, not the slavery crimes they committed on our ancestors, what they're doing to us today. We have to indict them for supporting this coup, this coup that they've done in government. That they are, we have to make it clear to them that we know that they are violating international law, the law against humanity, the law that God ordained them to set in place. A, a, a group of law enforcers on the earth to indict and bring into custody those colonizers and those leaders of governments that are leading occupying land in sovereign people's land. We know that God gave everybody their land. So, they can stop saying that they are religious and they believe in God when they don't do what God say and they ignore the things that God set in place to cause us to live in harmony, to show us how to live in harmony in the world. He set everybody in their land, gave them the portion of the land according to the size of their family. He knew how much family they would have. He knew how their birth rate and their death rate would happen. He knew how much land you needed, every sovereign people. So he gave you your land. He gave us more land than he did anybody else, because he knew we were going to end up being the sovereign of like the sands of the sea. Now, I don't want to take anything away. I can't take anything away from these brothers that's out here teaching with force and declaring the wickedness of the people who are occupying our land. They're doing a great job. Brothers, I'm not sure of who y'all are. The Yahweh camp in Raleigh, you're doing a great job. I commend you for standing up. What I'm saying, we need to know what the crimes that they are committing right now. We know they are at war and hunting our steps, and they are unaliving us. They have their militia groups working, their police working and violating their jurisdiction and territory. They're spreading their territory and their jurisdiction over sovereign people, over us. They're spreading this a false jurisdiction. Just like you have police in the suburbs, like the police in the city, they have no jurisdiction on the highway. The highway police have no jurisdiction in the city, right? They're out of their jurisdiction. Certain counties here in Carmel, Indiana, they have no jurisdiction in the city of Indianapolis, you know, and they won't violate that amongst their own people. But because we don't know it and we don't enforce it in court, we have to enforce these laws in court that's in place. We don't know the law. We think they don't matter. We think we can't win in court. You can't win if your argument is not right. But if all of us are arguing the same thing, cohesiveness, ethnocentric like they are, in their thinking together, glued together in our thoughts, one mind, like Christ said, he was talking to us, we should be of one mind. We should be of one mind in God, in the Most High God, and that is the laws. And there's a law for humans, the way humans are supposed to treat humans. God told us not to meddle with them. What does that mean? That means they ain't supposed to meddle with us either. We can't violate our jurisdiction into their, wherever they at. We can't go into their not imaginary, because jurisdiction is where you are. Where your community can't go into their communities. Uh, we give them the right. We can't put them out, but we can stand and hold our jurisdiction down over our territories. They have their territory. The Most High told us not to meddle with them, not to meddle with Moab. Don't. He was setting the pattern. People shouldn't go into other people's territory, and that's the way the Bible did it in Bible times. That's the way people did it. That's the way Moab had their territory. The Edomites had their territory. The Canaanites, they violated our territory, and God had us, when we came out of Egypt, he had us go into the land that was delegated to us and force the Canaanites out and every other people that violated our territory. You can't violate people's territory. God gave every nation his own territory. And if they rent you a spot or let you buy a part of their territory, you can't go in it and make laws that violate their laws and force them under your jurisdiction because you got a bigger gun. You can't do that. These are the things we should be telling the people. Now, these brothers have an opportunity to do that, but instead they want to poke the bear. You never poke the bear when you're in their territory. Now we know wherever we are is our territory, because they can't take eminent domain. They took eminent domain and we gave it to them. We said, okay, I'm in America, I'm in the United States, they are the government. We vote for them. That's the police. That's not our police. Now, they're having a problem with the police here. The police walk up and say they talking too loud. Now, if the neighbors can come out, but the neighbors can't call the police because the police territory don't stretch over into our sovereign territory. Wherever we are is sovereign territory of ours, because we own all of these lands here in Asheris. Wherever we are on the earth, if we're not in their territory that God gave them, then, we're not violating them. If they bought some land from some other people, Africans or somewhere else, and the people in that land told them that that's their territory, then if we go through and they don't want us passing through their territory, we shouldn't do it. Because everybody has their own right to have dominion over their sovereign territory. But I want you to see a little of this video. I'm going to show you some opportunities they had and what they should have said when they were faced with these dilemmas, with these invasion of territories. Okay, just started off. Listen to a little of this.
Everybody, it talks about everybody, but this is not a covenant to everybody. And we've been told that. And that's why we walk around America docile, thinking that people that hate us are our friends. I know Sonia Massey, if she was awake today, she said, I should have never called that racist soldier to my house.
You know what? He's exactly right. We shouldn't call them to our houses. We shouldn't call them to our houses. That's proof. This poor soul losing her life is proof. Maybe she was a martyr. A lot of people are martyrs that get unalived by these race soldiers. They are martyrs because the generations to come will remember her. And that will cause them to stand up against people violating their territory and trying to unalive them. But the main thing we have to do is remember what right and wrong is, and that people occupying your country, your territory, when they come into your territory and say we got laws that are, you got to ask them who delegated their authority to them, who gave them authority to police you, right? They can't say their nation, the nation they are from, the United States, and their governmental system can give their race soldiers authority to violate you, your authority, right? They can't delegate that to them because that's against the Constitution, and that's against the international law of humanity. That's against them. They have a warrant out for Netanyahu right now. If they find him, they're going to lock him up. China, Russia, and all the other nations, when they find him, they're going to lock him up. When they find Trump, they're going to lock him up. If they find him out of place, they're going to lock him up, the Arabs. Because they have warrants on them two people, I know. Because they ordered them to come to court because of the genocide that they're doing here in our land. This is our land. My last video, I showed you that they know that this is our land and not the Native Americans that the government, that their fake government set up to pose and help them steal our identity so they can have rights to being sovereign in this land, to make laws and force us, to make us think their laws were the laws of God and that we are to follow them. General Johanna and Nathan, IUIC, and all your followers. Their law is not the law of God gave for the law of the land. He did not ordain their law for to be followed by us. We are not to follow their laws. That's why he set up the international law, the Mosaic law, the common law, the rights of indigenous people, which is us, the sovereign people, the indigenous, the real indigenous people. Peace and Friendship Treaty, all the treaties they made with the Indians. Those treaties, I don't believe those treaties were really operating out of sovereignty. You know, they were operating on what that tribe, whatever that tribe that made the treaty. They had over 400 treaties. So do you think they just kept renewing the treaties every time one broke? It was just one treaty. It was just 400 treaties with one or two tribes. Or was it actually 500 tribes in this land, like some explorers say, and they end up eventually smiling in their face and shaking their hands and making a treaty promising they wouldn't violate them if they just stayed in their territory, and let the United States use their territories. You stay in your territory, we stay in our territory. We don't hurt your people, you don't hurt our people. We don't want to fight with you no more because we can't beat you guys. That's what a treaty is about. A peace treaty, that's what it's about. We don't violate. You sit down, you have it like Trump and Africa is just sat down. I should do a piece on that, but Trump and Africa just sat down with South Africa, the president of South Africa, and Trump tried to impose his propaganda on the South African black president, and he had some delegates with him. He couldn't talk. Trump wanted to start an argument. He just laughed it off and stopped talking, and then the white South Africans, who were the black man's delegates, he asked Trump, they knew how to talk to Trump in a nice way. You know, that's how you have to talk to the devil, in a nice way. You can't poke the bear like these guys thinking, because they are the devils. They don't follow law. They use the power in their hand. But if you talk to them, because it is their kingdom, and you talk to them, then you can win in court. And we can start a trend that we win in court. All we want to do is to gather up. We want to gather up and take their jurisdiction off of us. We have to fight that way in order for our people to feel safe enough to gather up. And on the flip side, if they say, well, no, we ain't going to honor the law, the Constitution, because y'all going to use that to gather up. We heard you. We heard what Obed was saying. We see y'all plans. Then they would be declaring all out genocide and war and putting us back in slavery. And they know we ain't. They know that's gonna cause a big race war when they openly admit, y'all in slavery. Y'all, we don't have no laws. We ain't going by our laws. We breaking all treaties with y'all, the Constitution, human rights, and everything. We just gonna do what we want to y'all. They don't want that fight, cause God is our power. The Most High, God is our power. He can take a few of us and annihilate them. Gideon, 300 soldiers, annihilated what, 3,000 to 5,000 soldiers or more? The Most High God is our power, so they don't want that fight. What they want us to do is keep giving our jurisdiction up to them, where they'll be fighting us onesies and twosies and cause us to fear them again. They don't want everybody gathering together under the guise, under the same mindset, saying, okay, since they're going to just kill us anyway, we might well out fight them everywhere we see them, lock them up, take hostages, do what Gaza is doing. They don't want that chaos. They're not going to win. They have all the weapons that they gave to the small hats to destroy and genocide those people. You know who I'm talking about. But God ain't going to let them do it, because those people were not God's chosen people. We are. That nobody's taking us back in captivity. God is delivering us from their captivity. They are, all kind of dilemmas is happening to them. Their airplanes falling out of the sky. They're having seizures and running in dump trucks into poor folks' houses and stuff. They're killing each other, man, unintentionally. God is guiding their planes, their cars, their health, their minds. He's bringing them down, and there's nothing they can do about it but accelerate it, the process. Let's watch a little more of this.
You don't call them. You stay away from them. And if they get in your way, off with their hand. You ain't going to tread upon me, all right? How dare you have a don't tread on me sign when you've been treading on...
Now, you don't have to announce that, because all big mouths are just a big mouth. All big mouths are just a big mouth. You don't announce, you don't poke the bear with a lot of bluffing, because they will call your bluff, because they have the power and they know you too old to do all that damage. And you just 1 or 2 or 3, 4 million. Everybody, they know everybody don't think with you like you. Everybody ain't thinking, well, let me give up my life. Let me give up my life for my country. Right? Everybody ain't thinking like that. They gonna let you go out there by yourself and get unalived, and all that's gonna do is cause fear to come on the rest of us. We gotta go all one and one, all at the same time. That's why we try to reason with them first, because they don't want us to gather together and come all out war on all of their citizens. And because, a lot of their citizens are not with them. So if they come all out and start killing innocent women and kids and people here, like they did in other places, like they did before, then a lot of their citizens are not going to come out and help them. And they just don't have enough military and police, and none of the political people are going to fight. So the police going to have to protect their homes. They're going to go home. The military going to go hold their houses down. And then the military and the police, black and the white military and the police officer, they going to fight each other. Because they ain't going to let you shoot their brother and son down and they standing right there next to you. That ain't going to work, man. This country is not like that. This is the clay and the iron and mixed together. But we are not united and joined in in mind. We're not of one mind. That ain't gonna work. They're gonna have to get rid of all the military men, either kill y'all, kill all the black police, kill all the black military, or either send you home where you will do more damage to them when you train the people around you. It ain't gonna work. An all-out war with us, a race war, is not going to work. And all you black police officers and military people who say, well, I'm going to stand with Esau, God going to cut your head off. They're going to kill you right away because they don't trust you. You think they ain't got sense enough to know that they can't kill black people while you standing next to them? You might turn the gun anytime and shoot them. So they not going to let you stand with us, with them. They not crazy like us. They not going to march down the street with you standing with them like Martin Luther King did. You can't say what you want to say. You can't defend yourself like you want to because you're going to hit some of their people. And they might click anytime and say, well, I got to go back and stand with my people. I just couldn't take that. He shot my people and he unalived my cousin. No, they can't let you stay around them. Okay? I got to take that banner thing off. So I'm going to get to the point.
Alphabet community, you're the progenitor of everything unclean and foul, man. Read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
Do what?
Never trust thine enemy.
That's what we got to learn to do, and that's why the Most High told us to separate. There you go. Look at the enemy. Look what he do. He comes speaking sweet word right on cue. Read this, read this. I want you to stay and listen to this. Read this. Stay right there. Come on, because you're doing exactly what the Bible said you would be doing. Read it from the top.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
Come on.
For like as iron rusteth,
Like iron rusteth, come on.
so is his wickedness.
Your wickedness ain't going nowhere because too many of your people have not done enough to make a difference. Them damn pamphlets ain't helped our people. Read again from the top.
Never trust thine enemy.
But never trust your enemy. Look, if you can't trust the ones that's supposed to protect and serve you, how the hell you gonna trust someone who's a...
See, that's where he wrong at. That's another thing. He thinks that they set up their government to protect and serve us. No, they set those governments up. They took an oath of office, but not to protect us. They protecting their own sovereign citizens in their own territories. That's the problem. We think that they are set in place for us, working for us. They are not. Their government is not for us. If you've seen the indictments that China read about Netanyahu and what they were supposed to do, if they had war, if they had to go in and destroy sovereign people for attacking them, they were supposed to make sure they had resources to restore them, to rebuild them. They were supposed to use investigative tactics. They were supposed to use their military to go in and make sure they didn't harm none of the civilians. If they had renegades that were attacking them, they were supposed to make sure they went in and got those renegades, right? Or get the hell out of the land. Get the hell out of the land, man. You know you ain't supposed to be there. You shouldn't have came over. You stole all of our resources and you used them and you profited off of them. You profited off our free labor. You build up all your allied countries. You stole all our gold and artifacts. And you took our identity and miseducated us to make us think that you were the sovereign of this land. Because, that's enough. When we wake up and say, hey, we don't want you, South Africa, wake up and say, you white South Africans, we don't want you here no more. Well, we own this land. You don't own nothing. You tricked us out of this land. You tricked us out of our resources. You've lived voluptuously off of our resources. Go back to your own land. You already done polished up the Caucasus Mountains. You've already polished up Petra. You taking tours over and showing people how smart and how technical you were. You didn't have any tools but some bones, But I don't see how you smoothed out all of that stone carving over there. That's a lie. We know that's a lie. You got all our gold. You got our resources over in your European country, your allies. But the problem is they can't go back over there. They have too many enemies over there. That's why they say this is their country. They're going to just force us to the bottom again. Force us out. Let's keep watching. Not long now.
Enemy. Right. If the one that's supposed to protect and serve you is proven to be our enemy, how you gonna trust anybody?
That's true.
Right?
Hey, real quick, brother. Real quick, sir. Sir, listen to what we're talking about, right? When we say who our enemy is, who's been the enemy of the so-called Negro in America since we got the spaceships in 1619? Who's been our enemy? We already know, but we want you to know. Who is it? The so-called white man, right? All right, the Bible said never.
Okay, now, what they should be quiet, stop poking the bear. I don't know, he's going to come back and say who they think they are. Now, who do you think they are is the problem. What you should have been doing is asking him, who delegated you authority to tell us how loud we can talk here? You claiming our territory when you don't have sovereignty here. This is our land, and we need to see a written paper from the DOJ saying that our people gave your people authority and written authority to come in our neighborhood and tell us we are too loud. Stop reading the Bible. He has no authority. He has no letter from the DOJ. He can't be sovereign according to the international courts. That police officer cannot be sovereign. He cannot be sovereign in our land. The United States cannot have sovereignty. They have no jurisdiction over us. And it's a way China proved it. The world courts, they are violating the human rights laws. The international human rights laws, they are violating them whenever they take jurisdiction and come in our territories. Wherever we are is our territory because we are sovereign to the land. And say, we have ordinance that you are breaking. Those are called Jim Crow laws, right? Christian codes, right? Legalese, not law. The law is the law that God gave us. And we are supposed to be establishing them on the earth. With these people, when they come saying that, we ask them where do they get their authority from? Because governments derive their power from the people. We never gave them people our wish our desire for them to make laws for us and force us to keep them. We never gave them a power. Just a man, any man or any group of men can't come and say we're going to make laws and we expect you to keep them. If not, we're going to unalive you, torture you, put you in, make a prisoner out of you. God never gave no man authority over any other man like that. So if they say they are doing that, then they are terrorists, and we should treat them like terrorists. But we don't have to tell them because they already know. When you tell them, you put yourself on a hit list and you prepare. You prepare them, and make them prepare themselves to get you out of the system, stop you from speaking, because what you're doing, you are riling up the other slaves. You are educating the other slaves that these people have no God-given rights to come in your territory, wherever you are, and force their laws on you. I wouldn't give a damn where it is. Washington, D.C., that's not theirs. Wherever you are, they have no jurisdiction. Because governments get their power from the people who elect them. Their people elected them, not us. They have no power over us, except for the guns they have on. But if we tell them that, I'm pretty sure he's not talking to them, because the way he came back to the mic and started complaining, like who they think they are. You know, you didn't tell them. You don't know who they are. They are exactly who you think they are. That's who they think they are. Because you think they are that. They going to act like they are that. The authority of the land.
Trust the so-called white man like his iron rusted, so is his wickedness. We are here every Saturday teaching, right? You don't need anything to come out here and teach the words of God, but he has to come out here and do what's wicked, right?
Leave him alone. You see what he did? He walked away because he know he don't have any authority. You just agreed to his authority, so he didn't have anything else to do. You agreed to him. Watch when he come back. Watch when this brother come back.
68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemy.
Okay.
Our enemy was the people we were sold to by nation. Who were we sold to?
You know, we all need to understand that. We all need to know that everywhere. So I let that play.
And you see what it is? Listen, this is why. Now, if they were playing music over there, it wouldn't be no issue. If we had music over here dancing, shucking and jiving, they wouldn't call the police. They call the police because they can't stand the truth. Shalom. They hate the truth.
See, the first thing you did is you came over there and gave that false government a jurisdiction over you. You say they called the police. You were not harming them. They have no law. God gave them no law against sovereignty. See, here's the thing. Their government and their police is to stop you from harming them and stop them from harming us, the sovereignty in the land. That's what the Constitution, that's what their law and their law enforcers, all they're supposed to do. You are free to do whatever the hell you want to do in your land when it comes to protests and all of that. That's what their law says, the Constitution. You can do all of that long as you're not harming other people and their property in their nation. If in your nation you can harm people, now if your people in your nation call you harming them and they call them to stop you, then oh well, that's God's judgment on you. That's the law. That's the law. He will use those wicked people to judge you and to arrest you for harming your own people, right? Oh well. So, but that's the first thing we do is recognize them and give them we give them permission and jurisdiction over them when we call them police. We say we respect you for coming and chastising us and taking jurisdiction over us and saying we're breaking your laws when we don't know that you have no jurisdiction except for what you give us. Now, the people who made them police, just like this man right here, he made them the police by saying, you are the police. He gave them jurisdiction just by his admitting that recognized them as his police. And if their citizens call and say, hey, they are harming us by reading the Bible, it's too loud, then they are being sovereign in our land when they are on a visa. They're here on a visa that they don't really have. They're here on a land grab permission from a fake government. They are not supposed to be over here occupying our land. If they violate us while they're here, then they are supposed to be deported. Just what Trump is doing now. He's deporting all the people that he brought in here that violate what their government wants. Don't care if you say you was a citizen or you own a house and car, you got a business here, you got to go and leave everything here. That's the way they are supposed to. If we had our own government in place, that's what we would expect them to do with the citizens that violate us. And then if they didn't do it, then it would probably be a civil war Or we would just go arrest them and put them on a plane and ship them back wherever, where whoever will take them. But you wouldn't have to do that because they will respect us and they would not violate us. Let's finish listening.
We out here with Bibles. The black man is not going to get a break in America. Y'all need to understand that. If we're out here with a book and it's supposed to be freedom of speech, they're coming over here talking.
You hear what he said? It's supposed to be freedom. Who gave you freedom of speech? God gave it to you. What you mean it's supposed to be freedom of speech? You recognizing them and their authority over you again. As long as we keep doing that, what they should have said, what he should have said is God gave us, we are sovereign in this land, and they are violating their oath of office. That police violated his oath of office, and those citizens that called him, they have to be deported because they harmed us. They violated our sovereign right on the earth. They took sovereignty over us, and they claimed their law to rule over our law, and they have to pay a fine. And if they continue to do things like it, we have to deport them. That's international law. That's God's law. That's peace and friendship law. That's the rights of indigenous people. That's the human rights law. Okay? That's what it says. When they harm us, they have to be deported. Pay start at $10,000 when they violate our what we call human rights. We start at $10,000 and or 10 to 20 years. For the least crime of violating us as sovereignty and calling their race soldiers over to commit fraud on us. That's the first thing we're doing wrong, is we're giving them the authority by recognizing them as authority over us. Kanye West said it.
Decibels. I told that racist white supremacist to go get the decibel meter because I'm not bowing down to your lying ordinances again. You done shot people.
See, that's the next thing you did wrong. You told him to go get a meter that he can fix to whatever he want to fix. That means you recognize his law, you understand his law, you will obey his law, and you will put away your sovereignty to please him because you are afraid of him. And then now you want to poke the bear. Now you want to sit and call names and dare them when it's only 2 or 3 or 4 of you. You jeopardizing those men's life with you when you do that. When you should have stood up like a man and said, sir, you have no jurisdiction over us. You have no delegated authority. You have no letter from the DOJ. We are sovereign. You can look at us and tell we are those native people of this land. And according to international law, you are violating your oath of office and you cannot take sovereignty over us. Now, if you want to take us to court, write us a ticket, we'll meet you in court. If you want to take us to jail, whatever you do to us, if you order us around, we'll do it because you got a gun. But we will see you in court. And we will have you deported because you are violate your oath of office. You broke the treaty. You harmed international citizens. Now we're not citizens. You harmed the sovereign people of this land, and you tried to force us under your jurisdiction, under gunpoint and fake laws. You will lose your job. You can go to jail. Didn't they put that black woman and that black man black turnkey, that black turnkey that was having an affair with the black prisoner? They locked her up, took her job, locked her up, and said she violated her oath of office. And none of them have went to jail for violating their oath of office. And every one of them had done it, from the police to the prosecutor to the judge to the turnkey. They all have violated their oath of office and should be deported. They don't have an office because when you violate the sovereign people's rights, human rights, then you descend. That's in the bylaws too. You descend to a normal citizen. I don't care whether they voted you in, paid you to get in. you lose all privileges as government officials. Let's listen.
Face you to put knees on people's necks, and you think we're gonna be out here accepting your lies and deceptions? We not them Negroes. We not them.
What you talking about it for? You shouldn't even be out there, man. The first thing, you don't have to be out there hollering like that. You should be somewhere with a pamphlet like the Jehovah Witness, talking to your brothers and sisters and not intimidating them, because that's pride right there. Painting them signs and standing out there hollering where you got a mixed crowd at. You could do just as much good when you catching the people walking up and down the street. They would be more apt to listen because you ain't putting them on Front Street. It's a gang of y'all, so, and you hollering the loudest. You hollering the loudest with your gang of young men, you know, because y'all ain't never had no self-esteem in your life, so you feel like you are taking your self-esteem back from a world that broke you down, and you don't care about the vulnerable women and kids. You can reach more people just whispering and having them stand to the side and talk to one or two of your brothers. Y'all all saying the same thing. Y'all all good at that. That's good. We won a card with them, with your camps and knowing them scriptures. But now you got your approach got to change. You got to have a different approach to reach the people. At one point, Jesus then went to the upper room to teach. And, you know, Jesus went out to teach. And look who died. He died. You go out and teach in the public like that, they're going to shut you up. Because it's not love. It's not love for all of them. That's not love. You know, we are in Satan's kingdom, hitting him with a stick, right? You got to be more smarter than that. We at the end. We at the end. When Jesus found out they was trying to catch him and kill him in the streets, he didn't come out openly among the people no more. We got to follow his lead, man. You don't come out hollering at the bear when you know the bear chasing you. You got a stick. You still can teach in the streets. All right, all praise to the Most High. Let's listen a little bit more.
Negroes, we ready for war. Right. See, a lot of y'all not ready for war. Y'all ready just to accept whatever the enemy tells you. Whatever Tom, Dick, and Harry wants you to do. We're not
all that's ignorant, man. That's ignorant. You giving out your secret war plans to the enemy. You giving out your secret war plans. Same thing Donald Trump was doing. Classified information. Same thing they did when they just now here recently, they made public over a wire. They thought it was a private conversation happening, and somebody exposed the war plans, how they plan to attack the Arabs, how the United States planned to attack the Arabs. That got out, and they exposed their plans. They jeopardized their army. When you jeopardize and expose your war plans, you give the people an opportunity to set up an ambush on you. Y'all are not soldiers, man. Y'all are those soldiers Gideon had with him that stuck their face down in the water and drank like a dog. They didn't even know they was in a war zone, that they were supposed to look around, pick water up with their hand, drink like a deer. You know, a deer, when it drinks water, its head always popping up. He barely get a sip or two because he always looking around. Stick his head down there, pop right back up and look around. That's the way wars, your head got to stay on a swivel. Your thinking got to be straight. You got to realize you're in a war zone, wherever you are. You don't go out blowing horns. Here we come, set up an ambush for us. We come and we will look at us. Ain't we beautiful? Don't we know scriptures? Aren't y'all proud of us? We are strong black men. Man, come on. I got to get off here. I got too many notifications, man. Y'all dropping videos left and right, man. All praises to the Most High. So you see what I'm saying? That's what we got to do. All praises to the Most High. We got to focus on letting them know that they do not have delegate authority over us, and letting them know that there's international law that God set up to let us know we're not under their jurisdiction, we're not under their slavery anymore. They know we still think we're under their slavery, and we volunteer to obey them. When we should be saying y'all have no jurisdiction authority over us, and none of us are going to obey you no more. We'll see you in court or wherever on the battlefield. We do not give you authority over us, police. We do not. You have no authority. That's what you got to do, man. They got to show you a letter from the DOJ where your people, sovereign people, gave them permission to police you. And none of us ever did that. We never convened a grand jury to make a law from our government, our sultans, our lawyers, our governors, our senators. We don't have them. So how could we give them, we give them authority over us every time we react to their presence and recognize them as authority, and we let them know we recognize you and your law. We understand your law. You don't understand their law because their law is not the law of the land. It's UCC codes, Jim Crow laws. You can't stand under that. You can't trust them to treat you right. They break with them Jim Crow laws. They breaking every treaty. Them making laws and classifying them as the law of justice when God's law, they ignore it, and you agree to it. They supposed to do anything they want to you, because you eating the crumbs off from under their table. They supposed to hit you in the head with something. Get out from under that table. All praises to the Most High.